all the participants who joined us. A very warm good morning to all the participants who've joined us today. This is a very short session that we have organized on behalf of the Association of Food Scientists and Technologists for Mumbai chapter, the Chamber for Advancement of Small and Medium Businesses, and the All India Food Processors Association. We are happy to have this opportunity to organize a deliberation between the senior leadership team of the Andhra Pradesh Food Processing Society and all our member organizations and our member scientists. My name is Subhaprada Nishtala and I'm the president for the Mumbai chapter. Today's session is largely to be a kind of a meet and greet where the team from the APFPS introduces and explains a very unique concept that has been introduced by them, a concept which is unique to all parts of the country, I should say, where the government of Andhra Pradesh is taking the lead in building entirely the infrastructural requirements for food processing industries in their state, one per district. We've shared the EOI and the details of the scheme with you over email when we sent out the invitations. We will learn in more detail about this from themselves, and they are also very proactive and happy to share any, resolve any queries that you may have about the implementation or the selection process of the scheme. So thank you to the team from AP for joining us today. I think a brilliant scheme by the Chief Minister, Dr. Jagan Mohan Reddy. It is our pleasure that we have with us today their CEO, Mr. L. Sridhar Reddy Garu, who is helming the entire initiative, the Deputy CEO, Dr. C.H. Padmavati Garu, and Mr. Bharat Tota. No Garu for Bharat, as my junior and close friend, I will take the liberty of calling him Bharat. But again, we are very happy that this initiative was crystallized, and even more happy that you could come onto our platform today and take the time out to interact with all the participants. I now request the president of the Chamber of Advancement for Small and Medium Businesses, Shri Nilesh Lele, also ex-president for AFST Mumbai chapter, and a very active entrepreneur himself, to share his thoughts and give us the welcome address. Nilesh, over to you, please.
Thank you very much, Shubha, and a warm welcome. First and foremost, I would like to formally welcome our guest speakers today, Mr. L. Sridhar Reddy, CEO of Andhra Pradesh Food Processing Society, Dr. Padmavati Madam, Deputy CEO of the Andhra Pradesh Food Processing Society, Mr. Bharat Tota, the CEO of Andhra Pradesh Food Processing Society. Also, we have Dr. Subodh Jindal, All India Food Processors Association President. Welcome, Shubha, as well. And I think I saw Dr. Prabodh Halde, who is the past president of AFST headquarters, past president of AFST Mumbai, also the current chairman of All India Food Processors Association Western region. And a warm welcome to everybody who's attending us and probably may see our event later on as well. This definitely is a great initiative by the Andhra Pradesh government, and through our chamber, we will try to propagate it even further. We are engaged with more than 500 SMEs, predominantly in the food space, more in the region of Maharashtra and Gujarat, but definitely we have some connects in Andhra as well. And through our connects, we'll try to propagate this. And this could actually become a model for other states to follow. So I'm very happy to be part of this. Thank you, Shubha, for inviting our chamber to be part of it. And I take this opportunity to convey that we will do our best in order to especially help the SME industry. Thank you very much, Shubha.
Thank you, Nilesh. Nilesh, also in his role as a mentor for the startup industry under the Government of India scheme, is, I think, very uniquely placed to share the benefits of the scheme with a wide variety of industry. Thank you, Nilesh, for joining us today. I now welcome Dr. Prabodh Halde. Dr. Prabodh Halde is ex-president for the Association of Food Scientists and Technologists at headquarters. He is a very familiar name to all of us in the food industry. He is a current member of the Central Advisory Committee for FSSAI, being part of a number of codex deliberations globally. I would not go into the details of his introduction because that is really long. A person who is dedicated himself to being a bridge between the government and the industry, both technically and from a regulatory aspect. Extremely passionate about the food industry and growing the food industry. I request Dr. Prabodh to join us and give us a little bit of context setting for the session today. Dr. Prabodh?
Thank you, Shubha. Am I audible?
Yes, audible and visible. Please go ahead.
First, would like to welcome Reddy Saab, Dr. Padmavati ma'am, Tota sir, Dr. Jindal, my friend Nilesh, and Shubha Prada. And all the dignitaries who are present, those who are from the Andhra Pradesh Food Processing Society and from the Chamber of Commerce of Small and Medium Industries, from AFPA and AFST. Thanks for giving me opportunity to put the context setting. Just 3 days back or 4 days back, Mr. Bharat and Shubha, we had a call, and Mr. Bharat explained about this very promising and a great initiative of Andhra Pradesh Food Processing Society's initiative. And I also received the mail from their office. I'm so happy that one government is taking this initiative in the area of food processing. Friends, as you are aware, in the COVID time, if two industries, those who are doing well, one is a pharma industry and one is a food processing industry. I would say food processing industry is the future for India for two reasons. Because food processing industry investment of 1 crore generate approximately 10 jobs. But the investment in IT sector of 1 crore generate only 1 job. So the populated country like India requires the businesses which will give the jobs to the many. It is not to solve the problem in the hand, but it is also to solve the problem in future. Food processing industry helps 3 ways. One is it empowers a value addition to the farmer. It helps in farmers' progress. It helps in job creation, and it gives you sustainable growth. I think I congratulate food processing actually Society of Andhra Pradesh for taking this bold step of giving the entire system on the lease for 10 years. I think this thought itself is very good because many people don't want to invest as a capital investment is high. I think this you have taken care of it. It's great. There may be a deliberation which companies to invite, which are the things you should invite. One of the things which I also want to say that we should give a fair chance to the startups. We should give fair chance to the Indian companies. We should give fair chance to the local, rather only inviting outsider. So these are also you can actually think. But in the context setting, I think this is one and the only kind in any of the state, first time happening. And we are so happy that we become a vehicle for this propagation. We are committed for this on behalf of AFST, which I was a president of AFST India, CFTR Mysuru, on behalf of AIPA and on behalf of the chamber. We are committed for this propagation and taking the right people on the boat. And I congratulate the entire team who drafted it. I've gone through the brochures, the facility which we created. I remember that I visited US 3 years back and I have seen such kind of facilities the US government has done for their local farmers, and that is being used. I think this kind of systems I am not seen in India. Abroad they are doing it. It's called as a capacity sharing. And I really salute to the your efforts which you are having dream about the progress of the farmer. Andhra Pradesh is always innovative in food processing. You are doing a lot of schemes which are positive for the industries. And that's why if you see the Startup India portal, DIPP, I was reviewing the actual few of the competitions of the Startup India last Saturday. And I was so happy to see that number of entries from Andhra Pradesh itself are highest in the startup ecosystem. So I really congratulate Andhra Pradesh. It is amazing the way you are driving the innovation, you are driving the processing and the culture which you are making. Please maintain it. Again, food processing is not the industry, it is a social obligation. A person who does the food processing, he understands how come this social obligation is, because you have to balance the farmer and the consumer. So I congratulate. And any help from my personal capacity or in our official capacity of the associations, we are always with you, sir. And Bharatji, especially to you, it is you are young, dynamic, and food technologist. I think we all are looking at what kind of contribution we can make India strong. And it is after COVID, Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas. I think this is the mantra. We don't want to become number one at the cost of the society. We want to take society. And let me tell you, I am a chairman of the AIPI. Our honorable president sir is also there. We want an ecosystem which everybody is a part of this ecosystem. With this, again, I congratulate the entire team and look forward for the hearing the presentations from the all experts. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Prabodh. I think excellent points raised of growing together for the food processing industry. And while Bharat is a food technologist, Padmavati madam is herself a PhD in post-harvest technology. So I think that goes a long way to show how the AP society is really focused on the correct technical parameters. Thank you, Dr. Prabodh. I'm now delighted to welcome Dr. Subodh Jindal. Sir is a luminary and very well-respected name, helming the All India Food Processors Association, which is a 78-year-old association which has worked continually to both raise the technical standards in the industry and at the same time be the conduit for redressing the industry's concerns with various ministries and growing the industry. So we look forward to your special remarks and your thoughts on this scheme. Dr. Jindal, over to you, sir.
Thank you very much, Shubha. I would like to express my gratitude to the leadership of APFPC for inviting IFA for this secret drive. Mr. Sridhar Reddy, CEO, Dr. Padmavati Ma'am, Deputy CEO, Mr. Bharat Hota, COO, all of them extremely learned and talented. And that's probably the essence of this entire drive. And what is more encouraging is that there is a very strong team which has been put in place. Chamber of Advancement in Small Medium Businesses, Mr. Nilesh Lele. Dr. Prabodh Halde is extremely well known in all food industry circles as a very intense technological person and navigating with the industry for its regular growth and giving new ideas. Dr. Shubhaprada Nishtala is doing wonderful work, as I understand, from the industry people and from food technologists. We need such dedicated and talented people today to take this industry forward. Dear friends, it's my great pleasure to join you today and congratulate the Andhra Pradesh government to take up this project under the aegis of APFPS to set up an infrastructure to establish food processing industry under an idea of lease, operate and transfer model is very, very practical way of going further. It is an encouraging proposal and should be promoted with the best possible inputs, as it will help to expand production capacity in the state, save agri-wastages, generate employment, skill development, which is very essential to provide jobs for the next generation. Everyone will not become, a postgraduate. So skill development over the entire food value chain, the supply chain, as we may call it, is very essential. And this is what will become the hub for that. And finally, boosting exports. I must also link up this, as Dr. Prabodh Halde said, we, the food processing fraternity, looks at this entire exercise as a bridge between the farmer and the consumer. Our ultimate beneficiaries are not the people who run the industry, are not the people who maintain the supply chain, who do logistics. The final beneficiaries should be the farmer and the consumer. And if any of our activities that is not happening, then the activity needs to be corrected. That is the bridging action should take place. Now, and yes, this activity will strengthen and take forward the farm economy in the state. We all know Andhra Pradesh is vested with immense agri-food natural potential. Particularly, we have fruits, vegetables, grains, we have spices, sugarcane, corn, and chilies, for example, is well known. When I was doing research, then one of my research mates who comes from Guntur, he used to tell us so much about Guntur, particularly in Andhra chilies. And whenever he had a residence flat, and whenever we went to his flat, he said that you will have to eat my chili rich food today. So we have a lot of things, and Andhra is well known in fruits for mango, tomato, papaya, banana, in vegetables, brinjal. I think honey is also beginning to be a good produce for the state. And we have a long coastline. I do not know if that is or can be a part of this venture. There is huge opportunity for modernizing marine food processing in the state. We have abundance of millets, which have very nutritive properties. And in the present circumstances, the entire world is looking for nutritively designed food, which has basic agri-farm elements. And millets can be one of this range. Maybe we can tomorrow call it a superfood of India. Andhra must take lead. I may forget the name of the minister of Andhra, Krishna Gowda, I think, who had once come to Delhi for holding a seminar. It used to be physical seminars at that time. And I was also one of the speakers invited, and we had a long, almost a full day deliberation of how millets can help India, a low water consuming crops, and their nutritive value and our heritage linkage with millets. So maybe this project also needs to evolve that, focus on that. Now, on behalf of IFA, as Shubha just said, it's an old body established in 1943 under very adverse circumstances when India was, writhing with famines. Agriculture was in a bad shape, and British took away whatever we had for their forces all over the world. And that's when some learned visionary pioneers thought that it is time that we organize the agro-food sector, right from agriculture to process to harvesting, packaging, processing, and till the retail chain. How to make it systematic, make it scientific, make it technology based, and that's when IFA was formed. And it is a matter of pride for all of us in the industry and also in the food technology realm that Indian government began to focus on food processing only 1988 when the Food Processing Ministry was formed. Prior to that, 45 years, IFA did the job. There was no other organization or chamber or body devoting to food. Even the big names that we hear, CI, FICCI, etc., they came much later. They came in only in the last 20, 25 years. IFA helped the government departments to safeguard this sector, to help entrepreneurs grow. I had first imported a can seaming machine from UK. It was not available in the country. Okay, that was the situation, and that is from where this sector has come, and we have today, so robust ideas as one entire state government is planning and focusing to take it further in a very systematic and a new model of lease, operate, and transfer. So, as AFPA, I congratulate APFPS for undertaking this idea and assure our full support to make this venture successful. Today, the nation is faced with the sacred task of developing our next generation talented entrepreneurs to take food processing further in a systematic manner. And that is where I would like to share with all my team members here. I will prefer to call everybody, in that way. That if the current endeavor will provide adequate and sufficient space for entrepreneurs from the small sector and particularly food tech graduates. Andhra also has a number of academic organization, institutions, and research bodies where we have learned food tech graduates who are motivated towards innovation and new product development. We meet a number of them in all our, activities in the association. And also, finally, whatever anybody may say, 90% of the food produced in the country is from the MSME sector, and 90% of our population eats the food which is supplied by the MSME sector. If you list the foods which are manufactured by the MNCs, we don't take 3 meals a day by taking, chips or colas or, fries or things. We need basic food, and that's what the MSME sector gives. So, dear friends, we taking it forward, we promise that IFA will disseminate information regarding this initiative to all our industry networks in the large and medium small sectors, to exporters, investors, technology providers, and other experts in the field. We are also happy that this drive has the support of the 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 Chamber for Advancement in Small Businesses and Medium Businesses, AFSTI Mumbai. This makes a good platform, a good team, which I'm sure will make this venture a good success. I once again congratulate APFPC, their learned leadership team, and the government itself, who has thought of this wonderful idea. Not only thinking, now they are giving a concrete shape to it. Thank you very much for inviting IFA, and look forward to and wish you grand success. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Jindal. Very thoughtful words on the entire perspective and how the scheme can be rolled out. Really appreciate your thoughts and the support of IFA. It is now my privilege and honor to welcome the team from the Andhra Pradesh Food Processing Society, Shri L. Sridhar Reddy Garu, CEO, and somebody who since 2019 has been helming many such initiatives for the Andhra Pradesh government. I'm also told that AP is a front runner in the PMFME scheme being granted out. All credit to this team. Welcome, sir. We are delighted and look forward to hearing from you, from Madam Padmavati Garu, Deputy CEO, who is herself a PhD in post-harvest technology of horticultural crops, and of course your dynamic COO, Mr. Bharat Tota, food tech from CFTRI and an MBA from IIM Calcutta, with a lot of experience in the agribusiness sector. Welcome, sir. Over to you.
Thank you, madam. Good morning, everybody. I am Sridhar Reddy, CEO, AP Food Processing Society. I welcome President Subhaprada Nishchala Garu, AFCTI Mumbai chapter and its members. I welcome President Mr. Nilesh Garu, CASMB and its members. I also welcome President Dr. Jindal Garu, AIFPA and its members, and Dr. Prabodh Garu, who is ex-president AFST Mumbai chapter. So on behalf of our state government team, I welcome Deputy CEO Padmavati Garu, who is a doctorate in horticulture with vast experience in government sector, and Mr. Bharat, who is recently joined as the Chief Operating Officer. He did his post-graduation in CFTRI Mysore and did his MBA in IIM, and he has vast experience in other countries also, like Europe. He has been in Europe, USA, Dubai, and other countries. So he's having vast experience, and he visited more than 100 countries as a food processing technologist, and he worked as a designed many food processing industries in entire globe. So he's a vast experienced person, and another consultant is also participating is Mr. Pantulu. He's a senior consultant in food processing technology from our state. And on behalf of this PMU monitoring project monitoring unit, Mr. Rahul Reddy and his team is there. They are from AP Urban Infrastructure Asset Management Limited. So this is the profile of our team, and I request Dr. Padmavati Garu, Deputy CEO, to present about ecosystem of Andhra Pradesh for food processing industry. Padmavati Garu.
So thank you very much, sir. Very warm good morning to all, and I'll not take much time in introduction because the time is short. So I'll be giving the how this project has been initiated and what is the advantages or opportunities that are prevailing in Andhra Pradesh to take up this initiative. So, you all know that Andhra Pradesh is this is the 8th largest state in the country. It is basically an agrarian state with bountiful natural resources and a forward-looking farmer community. Andhra Pradesh occupies a premier position in the country's agribusiness industry with major contribution in agriculture, horticulture, dairy, poultry, fisheries, and marine production. Around 60% of our state population is employed in agriculture and other related activities.
Phone చేయండి, mute అయిపోయింది, పద్మ.
Sir, am I audible, sir?
Yeah, now you are audible, ma'am.
Yes. So basically, we have 5 agroclimatic zones, and we have a large and diverse raw material suitable for base suitable for food processing industries. We are major producers of fruits, vegetables, spices, paddy, maize, groundnut, millet, pulses, aqua, and meat. And the state has around 70% of literacy percentage, and we have a very good base of technical persons available in the state. And the state has 980 kilometers of coastal line, that provides a base for all the aqua and marine processing facilities. We have 6 ports, 6 domestic airports, and we have 3 international airports, and another international airport is also going to come, and it is under development. And regarding the post-harvest infrastructure, because that is the base for any activity, we have around 350 cold storages, and around more than 3,000 pack houses are developed, and 15 integrated pack houses are available in the state. And basically banana, we have exports of banana from the state to many countries. And as Jindal sir already told in his introduction, we are the biggest producer of chilies, and our chilies will be going to many countries as export, either in the ground form or in the fresh form. So that is our strength. And recently the state is also developing ripening chambers and other post-harvest infrastructure that is suitable for exports and processing. And in another one program, we have taken up the Minister of Food Processing, we have taken up Operation Greens, wherein we are constructing some primary processing centers also in 2 districts, so that will also will be available in another 6 to 7 months. And we have better cargo facilities, and around 80,000 metric tons capacity cargo facilities are available in the state. And 5 food quality testing labs are also there in the state. They are in the private sector. And the most important, that power supply is it is 24/7, and we have a single window clearance for our food processing units. And Andhra Pradesh has first in ease of doing business as far as industry is concerned. And when coming to the horticulture sector, because this is the sector which is the integral element for food and nutrition security in the state. And as I have already told, we have fruits, vegetables, flowers, spices, and we are first in production of banana, chilies, sweet oranges, major producer of sweet oranges, mango. And our Totapuri variety that is most suitable for processing, we have major area in this under this crop. And similarly, Andhra Pradesh is also one of the major milk producer in India, and it ranks 4th in the production. And major poultry egg production, and we have paddy. We stands in the paddy production 2nd in position, with around 127 lakh metric tons production per annum. And as far as maize is concerned, we have both popcorn maize and the poultry maize. And it is also the major area is under maize in the state. And it is in 2nd position in India as far as maize is concerned, with 18 lakh metric tons production. We are also leading producers of groundnut, and 2 districts in the state, especially Anantapur and Kurnool, these 2 districts, they are majoring in groundnut production. More than 2 to 3 lakh hectares of area is under groundnut production in the state. And when because now the trend is for organic cultivation, and we have very good organic produce available in the state. And millets processing is also one of the major activity in the state, and is almost spread in all the districts. And all the millets, at least 7 to 8 types of millets cultivation is there in the state, and when seafood exports is concerned, the country contributes around 37% regarding the seafood production. And shrimp, we are the major, another major producing state with the 67% production. So this is the background of the state, and with this background, I request CEO sir to explain how the concept has been evolved and how this policy has come into picture, and how the project, that development of secondary food processing clusters, that expression of interest is conceived. And I request CEO sir, and I thank CEO sir for giving me this opportunity. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, madam. Thank you, Deputy CEO Garu. Yeah, before formulating the present policy, so many inputs have been taken. Just like Dr. Prabodh Garu just now said, an investment of 1 crore in food processing industry raises 10 jobs, vis-a-vis, whereas investment in IT sector will provide 1 job. So, and another input from Dr. Jindal Garu, wherein final beneficiary of the food processing society, food processing industry should be the farmer. So, yeah, this type of expert opinions have been taken and formulated our new food processing policy. Yeah, under the leadership of our Honorable CM Mr. Jagan Mohan Reddy Garu, he has announced a most innovative and dynamic food processing policy, wherein both farmer and entrepreneur will get benefited. So, in the traditional policy, past previous policy, and in the most of the states, the policy is traditional policy is just government just gives incentives to the entrepreneur. So everything has to be done by the entrepreneur. So land procurement, building, machinery, technology, investment, backward integration, forward integration, everything has to be done by the entrepreneur. A government role is just encouraging the entrepreneur by giving the incentive. The role is just like that. So in the present policy, the roles are completely changed. The role of government and the role of entrepreneur is completely defined in a new way. So the government will totally build the infrastructure and give it to the entrepreneur for operation and maintenance. So we are planning to construct one big mega industry, food processing industry in each parliamentary constituency. We are having 25 parliamentary constituencies in our state. So for each parliamentary constituency, we want to construct a mega industry with the state-of-art technology, with world-class facilities. And after construction, the government wants to give it to the private players for operation and maintenance, initially for 10 years, and it's extendable for every 5 years. So in the policy, the government role is clearly defined, and entrepreneur's role is also defined. Government role is right from procurement of land, mostly it's government land only, and providing water, power, and taking necessary licenses for the food processing industry, and construction of total building and machinery, technology. So all infrastructure is being done by the government, state government, and give it to the entrepreneur in a plug and play model. So everything is done by the government. Apart from these infrastructure, the government will provide complete backward linkages. So in every village, we are having Raitu Bharosa Kendras, that is RBKs. These are the central point for farmers. They'll give inputs to the farmer, every input like seeds, fertilizers, pesticides, and information, training. So will be provided with RBKs, and RBKs will take the produce from the farmers. So RBKs also having godowns, so they take produce from the farmers. So what the government will do is that our marketing department will collect whatever raw material is there in the RBKs and give it to the secondary processing unit at their doorstep. So this quality and quantity of the raw material is also as per entrepreneur only, because since buyback arrangement is made by the farmers, whatever quality the industry needs, the farmers will produce the same quality of raw material. So quality is also completely customized. This is the role government will play. So now the role of entrepreneur, what is the role of entrepreneur is that his role is mainly operation and maintenance of the facility that is being given. Apart from marketing, he has to make his own marketing. So for that, two primary conditions are there. One is that since we are giving entire facility, infrastructure facility and backward linkage to him, he has to pay MSP to the farmer. Minimum support price he has to pay to the raw material, whatever is being given, he has to pay to MSP. Minimum support price is being announced by Government of India. Almost for 23 commodities, Government of India every year is announcing MSP. And for the remaining things, the commodities, state government is announcing, like horticulture crops, everything MSP is there in the state government. So the entrepreneur has to pay MSP to the farmer. And another thing is that there is a clause of revenue share they have to pay to the government, and that revenue share is also passed on to the farmer. So final beneficiary would be the farmer as well as entrepreneur. So in this forward linkage has to be done by the entrepreneur only. Forward linkage means marketing and other things. So there in marketing or in marketing price, the state government will not interfere. They can have their own arrangement in marketing and pricing as per their need. So initially this facility will be given for a lease of 10 years and it's extendable for every 5 years. So this is the role entrepreneur has to be done. And the major issue is that in the policy is the flexibility and customization. So this is the main component of this policy. So because in the expression of interest, in the annexure 1, list of industries are there, which we are going to construct. So flexibility is there in the list of industries, their capacity and product lines, they're flexible and highly customizable. So we can change the plant capacity, you can change the machinery as per their needs, technology, product variation, as per the selected entrepreneur after RFP. After RFP, this EOA, after RFP, will select the entrepreneur. As per his needs only, everything will be constructed. So as per his entrepreneur requirement. So this is the main thing in our policy. So customization is the key in our policy. And also we want to create an atmosphere wherein both farmers and entrepreneurs should get benefited. So it should be a win-win situation for farmer as well as entrepreneur. So I request COO, Chief Operating Officer Bharat Garu, to explain other things like qualification and other things. Thank you.
Hello, good morning, everyone. This is Bharat, and I'm first of all many thanks to AFST President Mumbai Chapter, Ms. Subhaprada, Nilesh Leela Garu, and Prabodh Halde. And it's been a great pleasure that you have organized this wonderful seminar and meet online in such a short notice. And we from APFPS are thankful to your approach. Thank you very much. As from our team, we today have most dynamic team under the leadership of Mr. Jagan Reddy Garu. And we have in our APFPS also, we have most dynamic and educated, well-educated and practical oriented leadership, wherein Mr. Sridhar Reddy Garu is a chemical engineer himself. I am a food technologist, and Ms. Padmavati Garu is a PhD in post-harvest technology and a veteran in horticulture department. So I welcome you all on behalf of APFPS. First of all, most of the points are covered by Padmavati Garu on the agroecological climate here, the ecosystem, what we have in infrastructure in AP, and what we rank, where we rank, and what are the opportunities we have in the agri system. And at the same time, our CEO Garu, Sridhar Reddy Garu, has explained about the entire concept, which is a brainchild of Honorable CM. And it's been advised for the first time in the country, where, as rightly said by most of the speakers, that it is the first time in the country which we are advising this kind of concept for the benefit of the farmers. At the same time, we are looking into a win-win situation between protecting the farmers' interests and also have a win-win solution for the processors who are processing the produce. Now, this is a plug-and-play concept which is fully customizable, both on production capacities, production areas, raw material intake, and also at the same time, the final products which the manufacturers want to produce is also customizable. For example, if most of the concept is already explained by Sridhar Reddy. Now, let's say, for example, if we have a product in integrated fruits and vegetable processing unit. Now here, our main intention is the processor who will be coming to us should suck the entire raw material which is surplus in that area under the MSP, and at the same time, he can produce whatever finished products he can, and we will construct the facility as per his needs and his directives. I would like to quote an example wherein, let's say, for example, we will not give a factory on our own and then we'll ask to simply maintain and operate it. No, that's not the concept here. We will build a factory. Once we enter into an MOA with you and once the final bidder is selected, we will sit together with that particular operation maintenance company, or let's say the MNC, or let's say the processor, and then call for the turnkey operator or the builder or the person who is going to construct this particular plant. So it will be fully customizable as per the needs and requirements and also the final product which he wants to invoice. Let's say, for example, if he wants to produce a food powder instead of a pulp, we are open and flexible on that. Let's say we have kept a capacity of, let's say, 4 tons per hour, and he invoices a concept of 5 to 10 tons per hour. We are flexible in that module, and also the budget is also variable accordingly. So this is a fully customizable model as per the plug and play technology and as per the needs customization of the process. So we are taking the inputs from the processors or let's say the MNCs and factories who are going to come into the UI, and at the same time we want to build an ecosystem wherein a major plant comes up in that area, and then ecosystem is developed around that, wherein allied industries and auxiliary units will be developed, which will generate a lot of employment. At the same time, make a viable situation wherein people today are running away from the agro ecosystem should come back and also do the same in the name of the food processing. So this is what on the overall concept is. I do not want to take more of the time because most of the points are already said by the persons and also from our. I would rather like from the panelists and also from the audience who are there, so that if there is any question and answers, we can give more of a time for that questions and answers, so that any doubts or anything which are there in our mind, we can answer. Subhaprada Garu, you can take it from here. Thank you.
Thank you, Bharat, and thank you, sir, Mr. Sridhar Reddy and Padmavati ma'am. Very good background and insights on the opportunities that AP presents and the ease of business that is possible there, and of course the scheme itself. I request participants, if they have any questions, to please put it into the chat box, and I will read it out to the team for them to respond. But as we wait for questions, I wanted to request if someone from the team can just speak for a couple of minutes on the process of application and the selection criteria that are being considered. Of course, the EOI has been shared, but if you could just briefly discuss that, that would be of benefit to many.
Yeah. Yeah. See, the processes, the thing is, initially we have now advertised for the EOI, that is expression of interest. And in this, we are requested all those companies which have interest, or let's say in this particular arena, what we are saying about, and also those companies which have a real-time experience in processing in the relevant field to come forward and submit their proposal, what they want to do, where they want. There is a list of annexure wherein you can see that there are around 42 to 43 units which are coming up at 25 parliamentary constituencies across the state. So there are some major, medium, and as well as minor food processing units there. Now in that, people can apply for single one, or let's say they can apply for multiple components and multiple industries in an area. There is no restriction into it. The only thing is, there are two segments into it. One, from our end, government end, is first the operating company should completely suck the raw material which is locally available at an MSP, and in certain cases, on a need basis, they have to share the revenue with the farmers or the government. That is the major thing, and also generate a local employment. Now, what is the benefit for the processor and also the guy who is coming as an operation and maintenance guy? The capital investment is completely zero here. From land to licenses, so from machinery to the plant infrastructure, everything will be provided by the government. It's a plug and play technology. We will hand over the keys directly, and they have to operate, maintain with paying a fixed lease on a yearly basis. As Sridhar Reddy garu said, the initial lease will be for 10 years, which will be extendable for every 5 years. That is the concept. Second thing is on the EOI, expression of interest, you can also have a flexibility on proposing that what you want to establish, what are the final products you will generate, how much raw material capacity you want currently. That is the thing. You have an approximation of an estimate in the EOI and Excel already listed for every parliamentary constituencies and the units which are going to come. But that is an approximation. Please do not take it as prima facie. It is an approximation. They are fully flexible. The product can be variable. The final product is variable. The production capacities are variable, and also the budget is variable. So we are customizable on that particular concept. Now, first, initially, after submission of your EOI, based on your strengths, we will have a selection. Initially, we will ask for second. Then once we select on the technicalities, then we will ask for an RFP. Once we float an RFP, then in the next stage, we will go for the bidding stage, wherein whoever pays the maximum lease and whoever generates the maximum revenue for the farmer, we will be selecting that company as a final contestant. Once we select that particular final bidder, then Government of Andhra Pradesh through APFPS will enter into an MOA with them. And once we enter into an MOA with them, we will sit with that particular operating company, and then we will call for the turnkey contractor or the person who is going to build that infrastructure with a set budget which has been prescribed as per the specifications and the needs of the processor. So that is the overall concept from EOI till the final thing. And once we construct that particular plant as per the needs of the processor, we will hand over the factory to them on an operating and lease basis, and government will not interfere in any of the production activities, where they sell, how they market, which products they want to sell, and where do they want to sell. Rather, we will help you, but it will not be a hindrance from government side, except monitoring maybe once a while. That's it. That is the only thing. So it is a minimum governance and maximum productivity which we are looking at. As long as the local employment is generated, the local raw produce is sucked in, we are happy with that. That's the overall concept and the thing. And if anybody still has some doubt, they can pose questions to me, and I'll be happy to answer.
So thank you, Bharat. I think you've covered quite a lot of information in terms of the questions that were raised, but there is a couple of questions which have come through from a number of participants. First is when you say that the entire excess production or produce of that district must be utilized, what does that actually mean? Because that would vary from year to year, and that kind of a guarantee may be challenging for the industry to give. So are there any is there any structure around that, or can you expand on that?
Yes. Let's say, for example, usually the concepts itself, when we are advising this concept and designing this concept, the major reason was we are actually a surplus state in many products. Let's say, like Padmavati Garu has explained, like we are very good in production of rice, we are good in production of maize, we are very good in production of fruits and vegetables. So what is happening is ultimately the farmers are being really unhappy with the prices which they are getting in at the ground level, and it's been a very bigger harassment for them at the local markets. So to reduce that particular risk, to reduce that particular thing, what we have done is there will be no system wherein the entire product is going to the processor. No way it will happen anywhere in the state. Obviously, there will be some product which goes to the local mandis. There will be some product which goes to the international markets. There will be some products which will be purchased by the traders. There will be a number of parallels among them. But what government wants to really look into it is, when I say about surplus, let's say, for example, we have a surplus of Totapuri production in Chittor, for instance. Now we understand the logics wherein processor has some economics of scale, wherein he gets certain money and then it is economically feasible. At the same time, a farmer also has a production logistics cost cultivation parameters, wherein he also has some kind of number, wherein he is, for him it is feasible at that rate. So we want a win-win situation and bring both of them together, wherein neither the farmer is affected completely and exploited, neither the factory which is processing is exploited. So let's say we have taken this production capacity based on the available surplus. Today, what is happening is, for some products, Markfed is buying directly from the farmers at a given MSP, and they are marketing it through certain marketing department of our state. Rather than what we want to do is to go round and round, we want to take this raw material from the production area itself and supply that to the factory, secondary processing units, get it into a final value-added products. And that's what all the food value chain talks about. We had many sessions before also wherein we talked about food value chain development. And now we want to develop that food value chain within the local area, wherein a concept, we have a concept of RBKs, Janta Bazaars. RBK is Raitu Bharosa Kendras, which are something like an aggregation centers at the local level. Now that will be linked to these factories. Markfed will be linked, Markfed products will be linked to these factories. So the advantage for the factory is the entire raw material is readily available at their doorsteps, and the production capacities will be designed as per the raw material availability and also the suction capacity what the processor has. It will not be imposed that they have to produce this much, but the raw material, obviously there will be different kind of levels, wherein some raw material will go to traders and some raw material will go into markets. Whatever you do, this is the practicality what we have. But we want to ensure that this system works, and wherein certain kind of raw material goes majorly into this processing system, and also it generates into a food value chain, which we are all talking of from many years, and we want to apply it practically, test it locally, and take it globally. So we want to test this concept here in local arena, and also take these value-added products as a as a disk. If we want to develop this AP as a one-stop food solution for processing industry, and take this product globally. That's what is a total scenario.
Great, I think that makes sense. So if I could just paraphrase, what you are suggesting is that the quantum of raw material is something that will be mutually agreed with the processor at the start of the MOA, and that is what they will be their responsibility to ensure that they absorb.
Yes, because it will be because the production capacity will be designed accordingly. So it is obviously one
that is the expectation.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you, Bharat. There is another question which asks for more detail on the revenue sharing model. What are the responsibilities of the processors?
We are talking of the major factor, the number one fact wherein we are looking at is the MSP. Now, as Sridhar Reddy Garu rightly said, that central government is giving MSP for around 20 to 23 commodities, whereas in our state also, government is advising certain kind of MSP to horticultural crops and some other commodities. So we want a win situation for the farmer, wherein he gets a good value for his produce, at least economical for him to realize that cost of cultivation. That is number one. Number two is, let's say we are talking of revenue sharing model, wherein let's say we have hand over the factory to a processor, because as the capital investment is completely done by from land to lease is taken care by the government of Andhra Pradesh, then we expect some kind of revenue to be kicked back into the society, which helps to the farmers and also for the upgradation. This is kind of concept we are trying to back linkage as a CSR network, which many companies do. As Mr. Prabhu Haldu would also agree. Even Marico is doing a lot of CSR initiatives, giving back something to the society. So we want, instead of saying this terminology, we want to actually make the farmers as one of the beneficiaries in getting the revenue back. In the revenue sharing model will be discussed in detail in pre-bidding meetings with that kind of processors, and whoever gives the maximum lease amount and the maximum revenue share percentage, whatever it is. And we are also flexible on that. We can discuss one-to-one, wherein let's say, for example, if the revenue short, we are giving lease for 10 years per se, and if they want to give the revenue share after 3 years of their production cycle as a break even, we are open for that, for the discussion, and we are also open in that particular sharing person.
Great. Thank you, Bharat. That clarifies. Some questions around who will handle the turnkey consulting for the setting up of the infrastructure, and what are the timelines that you are looking at to have these facilities ready?
Yeah. For example, if we are, let's say, as I said prior also, once we enter into, whoever would be the maximum bidder, we will enter into a MOA with them. So once we enter an MOA with them, then we sit with that particular company, that XYZ company, and then we both, that means APFPS and the selected bidder, we both will sit together, finalize our designs, our needs, our specifications on which the plant is going to be built, and then we will be openly advertising for the turnkey contractor, and also taking into considerations of the operating and maintenance company. Let's say, for example, we don't want to establish units which are hanky-panky, locally made, or which will not sustain for longer run. We want a global platforms and global secondary units which will function for a longer duration, which more durability and more economics of scale in production capacity. So for that, if you have to have some kind of reputed companies into play, we will consider that. Let's say, for example, if I have some kind of machines in my mind, let's say I thought some machines of Wenger which will be useful, or Formex which will be useful, and the operating company says that no, these machines are not so useful for me. They say that no, I want machines of Alpha Level, or let's say from Bueller, or somebody involved in industries, something. Sorry, whoever asks for whatever feasibility in the budget, looking at the budget and also looking at the production variability, we will sit together with them, advertise for the local turnkey contractors, and then select.
Perfect. That makes sense. And in terms of timelines for having the infrastructure ready,
we wish to at least go with this current fiscal year. We want to construct at least 6 to 7 units, major units, and get it completed within a span of 15 to 18 months. And that's our target.
Pretty aggressive target. I think that's excellent to hear. There is also a question on if there is an exit clause for the 10 years, and information that you'd like to share on that.
Yeah, there will be an exit clause. We will be circulating the operational modalities soon, because currently we are only asking for an expression of interest. The exit clauses will be definitely put on at the RFP stage.
Sure. There is also a question if you would allow flexibility to use raw material from other states as needed.
See, that need will not arise, because when we are talking of surplus, it will be surplus. Currently, if I say maize, actually the production capacity will not be enough to completely suck the raw material which is available in the state. If at all, for example, let's take an example of chocolate industry. Where we are a deficit in cocoa, for instance. The entire country is deficit. So there will be some times wherein the raw material will be taken from outside the state or even outside the country also. We today require around 1 lakh tons of grinding capacity, but today we have hardly 28 to 29,000 tons of pots. So there will be some kind of calculations wherein if it is feasible, you can go for that, no problem. But as long as the initial raw material is sucked in from the state, and excess, if you need more of that, then you can take.
Sure. Thank you, Bharat. I think we've covered most of the questions. There is one question on the modality of calculating the lease rentals. Is there anything that is finalized on that, or is that something again that will come out by the RFP stage?
Yeah, that modalities will be coming out with the RFP, but obviously it is a bidding process. So there will be a base amount, and over that the bidding will take place and the modalities will be duly published with the RFP. That would be appropriate.
Makes sense. One interesting question asking about any space being allocated for food testing labs.
Come again, man. I couldn't hear that question.
Food testing laboratories, what is the infrastructure available, or is anything being created as part of the scheme to set up labs to support the
if you can go through our, see, as Padmavati Garu rightly said, there are many. I think Padmavati Garu.
Can I add here something?
Yeah, please, ma'am. Please go ahead.
Thank you, Subrata Garu.
Yes,
actually, the state has already 5 private testing labs in the food testing labs presently available, and one university, JNTU, it is they are also having one food testing lab, and the AP, we are also planning to establish 3 food testing labs in this year. 2 testing labs under RKVY and 1 food testing lab under MOFI program we are planning. So we'll be establishing 3 food testing labs. Locations also, we are proposing 1 in Tirupati, 1 in Visakhapatnam, and 1 in Vijayawada. So that is our plan.
Excellent. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for that detail. Yes, I think we've covered most of the questions. There have been some questions on the role for entrepreneurs, on how they can be part of this entire scenario. So, Bharat, would you like to address that, or maybe ma'am? How can startups and entrepreneurs who do not currently have the experience for or required as per your EOI, how can they be part of this food processing growth scenario at AP?
See, I think CEO Garu will explain in more detail. We have another scheme also for young entrepreneurs to come in and do the things under PMFME. There are regular schemes what we are functioning already in the state, and as Padmavati Garu said, we are #1 in ease of doing business. At the same time, in this one, as you can see the annexure, there are major and as well as minor factories also. So we are encouraging everyone to come onto an EOI with new innovative concepts. But the only thing is, I would always request anybody who comes with, because they should have certain kind of financial strength, because when you are putting this kind of mega infrastructures and medium infrastructures, as we all work in a food industry, we know that the operating capacities and the raw material intake needs a lot of operating expenses. So whoever has a good financial strength to rotate that particular raw material, process it, and also makes into a value-added chain network with marketing, they would have a better advantage as per. For others who want to come into the state and invest directly and do things, we have number of schemes with us. You can approach our office anytime, and we can individually explain that at any point of time.
Thank you, Bharat. Ma'am, would you like to add something, or Sridhar Reddy Garu?
No, for other entrepreneurs, there are different schemes are there. One is a centrally sponsored scheme, PMFME. It's there in every state of India. In PMFME scheme for startups, so 35% subsidy is there up to maximum 10 lakhs. So it's there in all state governments. So it's also being implemented by our food processing society. Apart from that, in the food processing policy, some incentives are there, but they are not much here. Up to maximum 50 lakhs incentive is there for startups in our policy. So this is the unique, this secondary processing, whatever explained, this is the unique concept. And we want to encourage this one because it will benefit both farmers as well as entrepreneurs. So the government is more concentrated and more focused on this concept only rather than other things. In PMFME, since it's very helpful for micro enterprise, we are encouraging PMFME scheme, and also we stood first in India in implementing the PMFME scheme. Thank you.
Excellent, sir. That's fantastic. I think yet another feather in AP's cap in that. Thank you, I think, for that very detailed answer. We've addressed all the questions that were raised. There are some questions on the role of academicians in more, I think, career opportunities for scientists and academicians in the AP Food Processing Society, if you would like to take. But in terms of the scheme itself, we've addressed all the questions that were raised. If there are more that come to us, we will collate all these questions and share it across to you and share your revert to the participants. I think some of the participants may also not have gone through the expression of interest in detail. So we will again share that with all of you so you can go through it in detail and connect back with the team as needed. So thank you very much, Sridhar Reddy Garu, Padmavati ma'am, Bharat, for a very detailed and patient explanation of the entire scheme to all of us and for addressing all the questions that were raised. Jindal sir, any comments from you that you would like to add before we close the session?
My small input for all team members. I think the detail of the scheme, as has just been explained, is very meticulously worked out. But the success will depend on how the coordination, the regulation is set up. Because issues of how does the farmers produce come, where does it come, who stocks it first, how does it go from there to the entrepreneur, okay, and then who settles the price, because the price is only for a few items as MSP, the items are much more in number. Then also how the produce has to be distributed or marketed, because there also the entrepreneur will have to have some domestic market support required. So I think again similar issue of revenue sharing will come, where unless it is smooth, there will be rough interaction or processing. Again, if we look at the locations of the production areas, the unit is not focused, the production group is not focused to any one particular raw material, but raw materials will be available from different parts of the state. So maybe some selectivity will have to be done, that a particular production group which is closer to certain raw material may be given preference for that. And then how do we make the parameters different from a large scale MNC to a small scale unit to a food tech graduate? Because all three will be different, economically different and in hand holding different. So some of these micro workings, I am not asking for an immediate thought on that, because this is a ongoing process. It will have a lot of brainstorming required from step to step, and we shall all be a part of it. IFA will be able to give a lot of experience inputs from the industry clusters that we have worked with always in the last so many decades, and how their problems come and they are resolved finally. But I'm sure the way will be found out. but we have to be receptive on the issues. We have to show a different, direction, not like, the normal approach of government bodies all over the country as it is. This has to set up a new model, a different model, a conscious model that no farmer has to be benefit. There have to be, good products. The raw material has to be consumed, and I will even suggest, Mr. Bharat, that while you do your, EOI and your selections, give priority to those units which are using the local nearby raw materials. If we have so much raw material that we cannot finish production, then it makes sense to focus on that first. If somebody says, why not let me make some kind of, as the example of chocolate was given, fine, we will consider that, but that is not the first one for us. First one is our grower who is producing something. His maize has to be, absorbed. So these are few ideas which I think we will need to discuss, take them further, and the team is so learned that there will be no difficulty in resolving them. Thank you very much. So nice.
Thank you, Jindal sir, for those thoughts. And I think just by their mere presence here, the team has demonstrated their willingness to listen and their openness in building a scheme like this. So really highly appreciated. Dr. Prabodh, any comments that you would like to add?
Thank you, Shubha. I think listening to Jindal Saab, listening to Reddy Saab, ma'am, and then Bharat, I have not actually experienced this is a government initiative. I feel that it is any private agency presentation so focused. And I'm so happy to see the chat box discussion also. People are asking the right queries. So this is to actually the food processing society. Do not go with the number. The 47 may be the less number, but the time was less. But I think the quality of the members who have joined, let me tell you, I've seen Satish Soni sir, who is a managing director of Maharashtra APMC. He was here and he then called me, he congratulated me, he said that you people are doing for Andhra Pradesh. What about Maharashtra? I said, sir, we are committed to the farmer and food processor and the consumer. And the boundaries are not no bar. So we are food technologies not for state, but for the globe. And as Jindal sir has said, I think we should actually focus on our objectives. And this is a journey. Nobody is perfect. And I think Bharat sir, I have one small suggestion. If you can form an expert team with under this your society, and we can take the right people like Honorable President Jindal Saab, we can take some people, we can form some kind of advisory group. You must be having advisory group. May not be the on honorarium or anything, but at least if we can have an advisory group for this, and we are ready to nominate few people who are really learned, who are very experienced, 30, 40, 50 year experience in this area. And then just a brainstorming with these people can really give. I always believe that India has so much of talent in experience. And for the youngsters like us and for the youth, we have to take the learning from them, what mistakes they have done in past and how to avoid those. Because finally, this particular project, we have to make it successful. We cannot keep any stone unturned. So we can give you some nominations from AIPI, from AFST, scientists, from the chamber also. And we are really committed for this. And this is the first efforts. And we will also take this because I have seen from AIPI, it has gone to more than 3,000 members. The mail has gone to more than 3,000 members. Also from chamber, it has gone from also the AFST. So it has reached to more than 10,000 members today. Many few people have joined because of whatever is the reason, but I think the extension of this particular program has reached. And I like the idea, Bharat, particularly the way you have answered. And if we can come out with FAQs, all the questions which has come today, if we can frame the FAQs and then along with your brochure, you also can put FAQs or put it on your website because people have, these are the questions, the investors. So this is the only way. And Also, there are various, actually in Maharashtra and other state, the Ministry of Food Processing has actually developed some kind of food park. It will be great just to understand why the food parks not being so successful. I'm not giving a negative picture, but whatever is the reality is reality. If we can learn, if we can interact with the food park owners and food park members, what are the difficulties they found and how to avoid those for the future. And we have some food park in Maharashtra. We can definitely connect with you. The whole aim is basically to make this very innovative program more successful and to make it win-win-win, industry, consumer and farmer. So win-win-win, and naturally the government is at the backbone. So thank you, Shubha. I think I got the good clarity. There are 2, 3 my suggestions, but I don't want to make it so obvious. But yes, there are 2, 3 suggestions which I will put it on the mail. But overall, the schemes look really interesting, and we will make it possible, as Jindal Saab and Nilesh also has said. And I like about the Reddy sir's vision. It's very good, sir. And Reddy sir has pointed out the points which was made by Jindal Saab, Nilesh, myself. So it shows the in the webinar, people don't give the attention. The share of mind is very important. But it is so nice to see that senior people like Reddy Saab has given the share of mind. Share of time is one thing which people can give because they just keep it on open. But he was listening. And Jindal Saab, thank you, sir. Your points well taken. But definitely they will work on it.
Yeah, I think
Bharat, sir.
Prabodji, I think thanks for your inputs. And as you said, Sridhar Reddy is a good listener. I am also a good listener, not so good like Sridhar Reddy, but a little bit. So I'm also learning to listen. And Padmavati Garu is a good listener. And we are here to listen first, take your opinions, whichever, and make the best of whatever inputs what you guys are given, because you have much more vast experience in the subject. And I have taken inputs, I have noted down what Mr. Jindal also said, and I have noted a lot of points which many people have put it in a chat box. Yes, we will come with an FAQ, and if there are any first doubts, please get back to
Sir,
us.
one point.
We are a proactive guys, and then definitely we will revert back to you.
One small, since you have given us the platform, with respect to Jindal Saab, I want to make announcement on behalf of AIPA. We have 75-year-old Indian food packer, which is one of the fantastic journal in the food packing and food processing area. And I am one of the, actually the editor. Shubha is also supporting. So from permission from Jindal Saab, I am announcing Jindal Saab. We want to give in coming volume, one dedicated 3 pages for Food Processing Society of Andhra Pradesh, interview of your leader, whoever is eligible, and you can nominate you yourself or Reddy Saab, and followed with the scheme titles and scheme details, which we will publish in our Indian Food Packer. So we request Shubha to coordinate and take the interview of Reddy Saab, or we can give the joint interview also. And it will go to all our members, because our circulation is actually going from south, east, northwest, and including government offices. So that will become a good platform, sir. So it's a just small appreciation from AIPA, which yesterday actually Jindal Saab has approved it, and he said, Ki Prabodh, we should support. So yeah, thank you, Jindal Saab, if you want to say something.
Yes, sir. Please go ahead, Jindal sir.
I would like to suggest one thing to the team. IFA as a body does a lot of things to develop food processing, some of things which will be very essential for this project also. For example, the Totapuri mango which we are talking about, for the last 50 years, we have tried to establish units in Chittoor region, Krishnagiri region, Karnataka and Tamil Nadu regions. Dr. Halde is, witness to that, which they did not have packaging. We requested the government to permit import of aseptic packaging machines, the aseptic bag in drum technology. Now we are trying to develop those aseptic machines and aseptic bags in the country, which will be half the price of the imported ones. So such actions will help to energize and strengthen the project. Secondly, similarly, there is one issue on GST, which if it is taken by the Andhra Pradesh government with the central government, it will get resolved very fast. And the issue is like this: mango is on the tree, chili is on the tree, plant, coconut is there. Now, when we take mango from the tree, it has got 0 GST. But the moment you take pulp out of that and put it in a can, it becomes 12% GST. Whereas that is not a finished product. It doesn't have to go to the retailer because the retailer will not be using the pulp as it is. It has to be converted into some other product. So this is just an intermediary. In fact, it is not only not even an intermediary, it is just giving shelf life to the mango which was on the tree. You are only taking the pulp out and putting in a container which can be used for 12 months thereafter. So we are requesting the government that for such conversions, these are essential steps to agriculture or horticulture, and there should be no GST on these steps. We are throwing tomatoes. Okay, but when an entrepreneur picks up those tomatoes and want to make tomato pulp out of this, he is charged 12% GST, right? So we will work together if there is, brainstorming sessions with IFA and AFSTI. Lot of such issues we can help to improve the viability of the entrepreneurs, which means the scheme itself. So maybe these issues, possibilities may be kept in the mind. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, sir. We have taken good note of your suggestions, and many of the issues are already on the table, and we are talking of. Your inputs are well taken, and we will address it. That is what I am requesting, because most of the things I wanted to explain, but I think the time is short. So if at all you can reach to me in person, because we do have answers for that. Some things we do listen to you and definitely take your opinions into the fore. And also I request all the audience, whoever were there, to pose questions, because that will help us to be more aggressive, more proactive, and more innovative. So myself, Sridhar Reddy Garu, Padmavati Garu, we are always available. You do visit us, and we are happy to help you out, and in whatever way, best possible way we can. Thank you, everyone. And for the final things, I will leave it to Sridhar Reddy Garu for saying his final comments.
Yeah. Thank you very much. I thank all participants for this Zoom conference. I especially thank you, Subhabrata Nishala Garu, for organizing, and Mr. Nilesh Garu, and Dr. Jindal Garu, who has given valuable inputs, and Dr. Prabodh Garu also given very wonderful inputs. And I thank everybody, and I request all entrepreneurs to participate in the EOI, and we welcome them to Andhra Pradesh. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you to your entire team, Padmavati Madam, Bharat, for joining us today, Pantulu Garu for taking the time out. Satish, who at the background has been coordinating excellently with me. Thank you to him as well. We were delighted to have this opportunity to be a platform for the interaction between the Andhra Pradesh government and entrepreneurs. And as committed by both Dr. Jindal, Prabodh, Nilesh, all three associations stand by supporting and promoting the scheme to our best ability. We believe it would be a game changer for the industry.
Yeah, thank you, Subha Garu, especially from personal end. Most of for you, she is my senior and she is always supportive to me. And on a personal front, I am grateful to her and my team who has done excellent work in getting in touch with you. And Prabodh ji, kabhi bhi aap hame calls kar sakte hain, koi baat nahi. So I am always at your doorstep. So Nilesh ji, thanks for this.
Bharat sir, sorry.
Yeah, boli.
Before we close, I think let's, Shubha has done an extremely great job and she is the director in charge of ITCS. I think along with this, जैसे Reddy sir ने बोला है, Reddy sir has given a very good visionary talk. And always our Jindal sir talked about the next level leadership, next level, how you can engage the youth. So along with your, I know now your target is to get the actually investor and the facility users. Absolutely right. But somewhere we also should catch hold of the youngsters from the different institutes of the food technology to showcase this, what we are trying to do. So in future,
प्रभुत जी, sorry to interrupt you on this. Already हमने ये चालू किया, अभी हमारे यहाँ भी जो APFPS में हमारे बहुत सारा मतलब 2-3 जूनियर भी हैं जो टेक्नोलॉजी के हैं, and slowly change मतलब एक ही दिन नहीं होगा, थोड़ा थोड़ा we are putting that particular vision, and also Cesar Reddy is also a chemical engineer into it, so everybody is into the subject. So we definitely take your advice. And जो youngster है अभी वो mostly young team बैठा हुआ है नीचे, so mostly in their 20s and 30s. So yeah, we taken your advice and definitely.
No, my point which I'm trying to say is not about employment. I'm about showcasing what we can do with the help of Shubha. We have a good connect with the different food technology colleges. When the time permits, we can actually arrange such program, what we are doing for the food technology college students along with the AFP and our, so the students will get somewhere. Job is not the solution. Also, I can become an entrepreneur. I also can do something. So this is important, what I'm trying to say. We can reach out to some key food technology colleges along with, again, the same team, Chamber, AFST and AFPA. So we all can reach out to these people and we can actually have a good discussion with them and they can take some challenges project. So this is what I'm saying, engagement with the student.
Sure, Prabhuji. We have taken note of it. Thank you. And thank you, thank you very much. Thank you. Prabhuji, I think that's nice. I think your closing comments, please.
No, I'm done, sir.
Thank you. No, I would request, I think we had our closing comments and our thanks, but I've just seen a request from a very senior member, Dr. Paul, to share his thoughts. Sir, if you could unmute and share with the permission of Sridhar Reddy garu. Paul साहब आपको unmute करना होगा. Yes, yes.
I have been through this session, all through this session, and it has been very, very interesting, you know, particularly the presence of Dr. Jindal and introducing IFA and all that. I want to share with the authorities that IFA is a body which can also offer complete technological solutions on machinery, technology and all that. I don't know if the Andhra Pradesh government has already set up these projects. What has been the source of technology? What has been the source of plant and machinery? Because most of the units that we have seen in the country which are not doing well is suffered only because of obsolescence in technology or bad quality of or not correct quality of plant and machinery. So what is the basis of selection of technology, selection of machinery? And I heard one of the CEO, respected CEO, saying that if someone says that I don't need this machinery, I wanted Alpha and Lowell and some other international makeup machinery, will make it available. But what is the idea of spending the money first on some machine and then getting it replaced? I want some clarification on this. And in case you need any consultancy services, you could kindly approach IFA, and we have the pool of technologists, pool of senior engineers, experienced engineers, and we can be at your disposal. That is my short comment.
Yeah, I think Paulji, I think I want to clarify here. I think there was some kind of misunderstanding here, or else I would have not expressed in the right way. The thing is, see, the technologies are. आपने बोला है कि to change that equipment. There is no question of changing the equipment from local to an international. While the selection process itself, the technology and the machinery will be selected to the best possible global standards by taking the input. from the company who is going to operate. So that is number one, sir. Second thing is, there was another question raising is, yes, we will take the necessary inputs from senior people like you whenever available, and we will be proactive in approaching you, and I'll be in touch personally with the help of all you guys, and then we'll take it up for no issues.
Thank you,
Thank
Bharat, for that clarification. Thank you, everyone.
Oh, thanks a lot. It has been an excellent initiative. In fact, we have been advising all in this Ministry of Food Processing Industry that in case we want to see Indian food processing industry coming up to international standards, this is the way. Start some start this public-private partnership scheme, and let us set up some units of international standard to show everybody what food processing industry really is like. So we want to graduate ourselves. We want to graduate ourselves from small scale to medium scale to large scale to mega scale food processing units, because India is a very, very huge country with huge resources. And unless we think of some projects at mega scale, we cannot reach the international standards and feed the world as we have been trying to endeavor upon. Thank you.
Well said, sir. Thank you. Thank you so much for that. And thank you to the entire AP team for their patience. We are 45 minutes almost over our scheduled time. Thank you for patiently staying with us and answering all our questions and clarifying. Sridhar Reddy Garu, sir, we are much obliged and honored that you and Padmavati ma'am and Bharat could join us today. Thank you all. As message, we'll send the details once again by email and share the contacts of the correct personnel officials in the AP team to answer any further questions that you may have. Thank you. We close for today. Please stay safe.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you all. Thank you very much for joining. Thank you.